All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're doing something a little different. We're going to move way beyond just talking about basic chatbots. We're actually deconstructing how a real power user, Matt Wolf, built a complete AI system. A system so effective it lets him run his entire business in just a couple of hours a day. So that really gets us to the big question right off the bat. Is the AI you're using just a chatbot? Something you ask random questions to. Or is it something more?
That's the question every founder, every business owner should be asking themselves right now. Are you using AI like a toy? Or are you actually building it into a tool that creates real leverage? Because the difference between those two things is, well, it's everything.
Exactly. So let's dive into the first piece of this puzzle, part 1, using AI for research and intelligence. This is really the foundation of the whole workflow. How do you even start gathering information in this new world?
Well, this is where you see the first big shift in thinking. The base layer, the tool that everything is built on, it's not Google anymore. For this workflow, it's a tool called Perplexity AI.
And this comparison really shows you exactly what that shift looks like. Google gives you a homework assignment, right? A list of blue links you have to go click, read, and then try to piece together yourself. Perplexity, on the other hand, just gives you the answer. It's a synthesized summary with all the sources right there. It stops being a search engine and becomes an answer engine.
And from a business standpoint, that is pure, uncut ROI on your time. The hours you save not having to connect the dots across 10 different browser tabs, that's a massive advantage. Getting to the right insight faster is the whole game.
So then you get to the next level, which is all about customization. He's not just using Perplexity out of the box, he's actually molding it to fit his exact needs. He uses a specific browser that lets him create these custom slash commands. Think of them as shortcuts for prompts he uses over and over again, like summarizing a news article or analyzing feedback from his YouTube comments. This is so brilliant because it's so simple. It's a basic form of automation that literally any business could start doing tomorrow. You just figure out what questions you ask all the time and turn them into these one-click commands. That's how you start to scale intelligence across a whole team. Right, and to stay ahead of the curve, he's using an AI-powered version of a tool called Feedly. And what's so interesting here is that it's not just about keeping up with the sources you already know and trust. The AI actually goes out and finds important, relevant articles from places you've probably never even heard of. It basically solves that what you don't know problem. Okay, so that's how the information gets in. Now, let's talk about turning that intel into actual content. So for part 2, let's look at the AI as a creative partner. And interestingly, the tool of choice here isn't ChatGPT, it's Claude.ai. Yep, and this quote really gets to the heart of why. He feels that Claude is a more honest, creative partner. It's less of a people pleaser. It will actually push back, give him the real critique he needs, instead of just saying what it thinks he wants it to say. And for any kind of real creative work, that's absolutely crucial. You need a sparring partner, not a sycophant. And this is where things get really, really powerful. He's not just talking to a generic, off-the-shelf version of Claude. No, he created a custom project he calls his YouTube producer. And to do that, he fed it his own data. Spreadsheets with his video titles, his view counts, how many subscribers each video got, even data on where people were watching from. This right here is the whole ballgame. As a founder, this is what you need to be obsessed with. Forget generic prompting. You need to train your AI on your own proprietary data. You teach it what success actually looks like for your specific business. When you do that, the advice it gives you back is strategic, it's tailored, and it's infinitely more valuable. That is such a critical point. It's not just using the tool, it's training it on what works for you. So let's take that idea one step further in part 3 and talk about actually building your own custom AI tools. Oh, I could not agree with this quote more. This is the future, 100%. We're moving away from this world where you buy an off-the-shelf piece of software that's, 80% right for your needs. We're entering an era of bespoke software. Tools that are built to be a perfect 100% fit for your exact workflow, and you can build them in a fraction of the time it used to take. So the tool he uses to do this is called Cursor, and you can think of it as a code editor that's built from the ground up with AI at its core. But what that really means is it's like you're programming with an AI assistant sitting next to you. It can generate all the boring boilerplate code, help you debug things, or even build whole features just from a simple description of what you want. It just massively lowers the barrier to creating your own stuff. And just look at the kinds of practical things he's actually built with this. This is an abstract theory. We're talking about a custom thumbnail generator, a tool that helps him rate video titles. He even built his own website.
That command center, that's the dream for any founder, right? A single dashboard that gives you the real-time pulse of your entire business. And the fact that he could just build it himself instead of paying tens of thousands of dollars for some complex business intelligence tool, that's a total paradigm shift.
And if that idea of building a tool sounds really intimidating, this breakdown shows you how simple the logic behind it can be. For his thumbnail tool, all he did was feed the AI a bunch of his own headshots, showed it examples of old thumbnails that performed well, and then just prompted it step by step. It's really less about writing complicated code and more about giving clear instructions and then refining the output. So true. And it really makes you wonder what our viewers would build first for themselves. You should let us know in the comments. Okay, so let's move on to part 4, the tools that automate the daily grind, the stuff that works invisibly in the background. Oh, I love this comparison because it's so painful and so relatable. His old process for taking meeting notes was just this crazy manual multi-step workflow. Now, he just uses a tool called Granola. It just runs quietly in the background of any call, takes all the notes, and pulls out the action items automatically. It's the perfect example of just delegating a tedious, annoying task to an AI. And the return on this is just enormous over time. Think about the mental energy and the actual time you save across dozens of meetings every single month. It's not just about saving 15 minutes here or there. It's about freeing up your brain to focus on the things that actually move the needle. Absolutely. And here are a couple of other great set-it-and-forget-it tools in his system. There's WhisperFlow, which cleans up his speech when he's dictating prompts, and 11 Labs, which can automatically generate podcast ad reads using a clone of his voice. These are just small, targeted automations that add up to huge time savings. All right, so let's pull all these threads together now in our final section, because the real magic here isn't any single one of these tools. It's about how they all fit together to create a single cohesive system.
And this number says everything. 2 hours. That's the outcome. That's the ultimate goal of doing all this work. It's not about being 10% more efficient. It's about building a system that gives you your time and your life back. It's about creating leverage. That is the real promise of AI for any entrepreneur. So the key takeaway here is this. Don't just go out and chase the newest, shiniest AI tool of the week. The real power comes from thinking strategically about your personal bottlenecks, your specific problems, and then thoughtfully combining the right tools into a personalized system that solves them. It's about the stack, not about any single app. Which really brings us to our final question for all of you watching. What would your personal AI stack look like? What's the very first problem, that first bottleneck that you would automate away? Drop your ideas in the comments below. And hey, if you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to follow for more. Thanks so much for watching.